Yu-Gi-Oh! Plotlines can never just be, I'm holding a big tournament with a huge cash prize. No, instead it's, I'm possessed by a demon, and if I defeat this child in a duel, I can take over the world. Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day, and in today's video, we are back in this crazy corner of the garage so that I can convince you for the next 37 minutes to play Mythos. I'm just kidding. This is a good game, though, I promise. A lot of fun. No, today we are sitting back, relaxing, and having a conversation about some murmurings you're seeing online. You're seeing it pop up more and more in the Pokemon investment financial corner of the hobby, where more and more people are talking about the Pokemon TCG being in a bubble, and they are worrying about when the bubble will collapse, or when the market will crash, or when things will shift over from bearish to bullish. And in today's video, I just like to talk about my opinion about Pokemon TCG's current status, as well as some indicators I think you should look out for that could point towards a shift in the market in general. So first things first, since this is a video about Pokemon's bubbleness, I do not, obviously I'm not a smart person. I'm just your uncle in his garage, doing the best I can with what information I have. But I don't think Pokemon itself is in a bubble. If there is a bubble in the TCG world, then it is with TCGs as a whole, and not specifically with Pokemon. I do think that there is a lot of speculative buying and selling right now when it comes to Pokemon. I think that there's a lot of hype going into Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. But I think of the TCGs on the market, yeah, I know people are louder about the direction Pokemon is going in, but I don't think of the TCGs, Pokemon's even the most egregious one. I mean, okay, so here we have Destined Rivals. Okay, this is the most recent actual box product for Pokemon, and it came out, and it's over $350 right now, which is a little over double MSRP, right? That's pretty big. That is a serious sign that there is a lot of hype and energy and a lot of people out there who think that that price will go up, because if they didn't think it was going to go up, they wouldn't be buying it at $350, right? However, when you compare things like Destined Rivals or any of the other Pokemon sets from the last few months to their Magic the Gathering counterparts, specifically just the collector boosters, we can talk about play boosters another day, but let's talk about collector boosters and the fact that almost every collector booster out there has seen massive, I would say, sales numbers, price appreciation, and overall speculative hype in the last few months, especially if you start looking at the Universes Beyond line of collector boosters. Look at Final Fantasy, look at Fallout, look at... Did Assassin's Creed? I could have sworn Assassin's Creed had a collector booster. I might be misremembering that, though. But I know that Spider-Man does, and it's like $900. Avatar does, and it's like $900. Those sets aren't even out yet, and they're like triple MSRP. So yeah, I do think, now I'm really bugged. Did Assassin's Creed, somebody has to let me know in the comment section, did Assassin's Creed have a collector boosters? I don't recall if they did or not. I know they had serialized cards. Serialized cards means it had to have had collector boosters, right? Am I misremembering that? This is why you guys know I'm not a smart person. Anyway, back on point. Yeah, there is a lot of hype and energy going into the Pokemon TCG right now, and you are seeing sets be bought out by the scalper bots really before the listings even really go live. I heard about that occurring on the Pokemon TCG website. That was an interesting story to hear about. I'm not sure how you buy out a product before it goes for sale, but people are saying that happened. Interesting stuff. But I don't think all the card games on the market right now, Pokemon is more overvalued than it really should be, especially when you compare it to its contemporaries. So that's just my opinion. Now, I could very well be wrong, and Pokemon could be overinflated in terms of evaluation. But it's hard to say that right now when you're seeing that not only are these Pokemon products appreciating well in value, but they're selling at those appreciated values fairly consistently. People are still buying up these Pokemon products even as they go up in price. And it's not just a few people, it's a lot of people. People really want to get a hold of this stuff, so there's something to consider. If there is a bubble, I don't think it's isolated to just Pokemon. If the TCG world is experiencing a bubble right now, it is the overall bullishness of the market that is in a bubble, not just with Pokemon. And I could give other examples than Magic the Gathering. It's just Magic and Pokemon are the two big numbers when it comes to prices ballooning after release. But to talk about the second point of today's video, when you have been in the world of TCGs for a few years, you start to recognize some indicators in the market, not just in terms of price movement or sales numbers or anything like that, but in terms of attitudes, opinions that fly around, and some things that tip you off that things might start to be changing. And if a change from Pokemon's bullishness to bearishness was around the corner, there are some things you could be keeping an eye out for that would tell you, hey, either the change is coming soon or it's already starting to happen. The big thing to note is that fewer and fewer people are talking about the scalpers, the people buying up everything at Walmart. Product becomes more available. Less people are talking about product unavailability because more people are able to get a hold of Pokemon product. That is a good indicator that either A, demand has started to sizzle down, or B, the Pokemon company has ramped up printing and has made more product available to the public market. Another thing that you can keep a general eye on that might indicate things are starting to sizzle down is a serious influx of older product hitting actual stores. Not Target, not Walmart, not anything like that. We're talking like your local game store, which has struggled to get a hold of a single ETB over the last 6 months, suddenly is able to get dozens of them with very little hassle. And I'm not talking about like a bunch of ETBs from one set. I'm not talking about stores getting a hold of a bunch of Twilight Masquerade. I'm talking about like a bunch of products hit the stores. The stores have been trying to get a hold of this stuff for a while now, and they're finally getting what they asked for. And they aren't selling out right away. And then there's a general overall vibe of more and more people talking about how individual sets are bad, these sets aren't worth it, these sets suck. When you start to see people be overall negative towards a set, not just a few people, I'm not talking about outliers on the subreddits or Twitters, YouTube videos, I'm talking about like if you start seeing a majority of the community go, oh, this set here is actually a dud, it's not worth collecting, it's not worth buying, that could be an indicator. And those indicators could be indicators. Those are things you look out for. Any one of them occurring on their own isn't really anything to note. But when you start seeing things like that all coinciding, there's a lot of product available, people are bemoaning the new products coming out, it gives you an idea that, hey, change is either here or it's starting to happen. And when that happens, don't panic. Don't panic sell. I mean, your stuff is appreciated, right? If you got, let's go back to Destined Rivals here. If you've got a Destined Rivals booster box and it's hit $350+ right? And you bought it for $350 or let's say you bought this for $300 on the dot, okay? And it hit $300. You're pretty happy with that. You're pretty excited about that. And then it gets its massive, major, super reprint, and it drops down to, what, $220? It's available on every store. It hits $220. Why would you sell? Why would you panic sell at that moment when you know that you could probably just wait a few years and the appreciation will come back? There's a lot of people who they see that the market shifts and they rush to get out. These people who rush to get out when the market shifts, these are the kind of people who had no skin in the game or were over leveraged and did not have any liquid capital to move if the sale rate that they were experiencing previously came to a sudden halt. And that's the thing. That's the thing to really keep an eye out for, is a lot of the things people are complaining about in the Pokemon hobby right now, in the Magic the Gathering hobby too, in the TCG hobby in general, let's just say TCG hobby in general, a lot of the things people complain about, especially when it comes to the evil scalpers, a lot of that is enabled by easy profitability. You know, if you have the ability to go into a Walmart, buy a bunch of packs or ETBs, and then flip them online for double or sometimes even triple what you paid for them, and get those sales fast. Well, hot diggity dog, you're in business and you're going to open up a credit card just to try and make as much money as you can. But if you've been doing that for a few months and spending that extra cash on whatever frivolous nonsense you're trying to spend it on, instead of, you know, fortifying your basics, and suddenly the sales stop, you get panicked really quick and you start to sell for whatever you can get. And then once that happens hard enough, you're out of the hobby. You ain't coming back for a while. You're not going to stick around for the next set. You're going to move on to the next profitable thing. You know, when the bull market shifts to a bear market, you're not going to see people go, oh yeah, I really like this Chinese Pokemon product because it has one Pokemon in there that I really like. You're going to see people go, it's Chinese, I can't read Chinese, I don't like the altards. Whatever. You're going to see that kind of sentiment shift in the general audience rather than the outliers. So it's just something to keep an eye out for, is sooner or later the market will shift, the overall sentiment will change. And when that happens, there's no need to panic. There's no need to, unless you're, you know, again, if you're over leveraged, you have a bunch of outstanding credit that you need to pay and you need to pay it now. You know, if you can afford to just sit on your whatever product you have until it appreciates again, why sell now? That's all I really got to say today. Got some, I don't know. I got this bleach stuff here. Score, if anybody knows what the Score is. I got some bleach stuff here. I wanted to talk about it for a while. I've been telling myself for a while now that I got to talk less and less about like financial stuff and the current state of the Magic the Gathering or Pokemon markets, and I just talk more about sealed products. So I really got to get around to actually following through with that. It's not like a promise I made to you guys, it's a promise I made to myself, but still, it's something that I care about quite a bit. So if you guys would like to hear me ramble on about the bleach TCG, got some tins here too. Yeah, it had tins. If you guys want to hear about this, let me know, and I'll maybe get around to making that video soon. Fun stuff. Anyway, I just dropped it. I suppose I'm off track now, so I'm going to end it there. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my crazy ramblings, please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.